one of the options, there is the unilateral option, which eventually, I'm almost sure, will be used by an Israeli rightist prime minister when he understands the demographic problem. This is why Sharon did it, and this is why Netanyahu will do it in the future, or his successor if he is from the right. Because those people, like Sharon, are not ready to pay the price for peace with the Palestinians, understand the problem, and do something which is less than the agreement itself, I believe, against the interest of Israel. So one option is unilateral. Another option is to try to have kind of Madrid 2, Annapolis 2, something 2, in order to see whether we can go anywhere. And the third way is to implement the roadmap. I did not like the roadmap, I must admit, from day one, and criticized it openly. I believe that we had to stick to the Oslo Agreement and to go directly to the permanent agreement after the further redeployments. But what could I do? There was an Israeli legitimate government which accepted it with 14 reservations, and there was a Palestinian government which accepted it 100%. No reservation, as is, beautifully. Then we did not implement the first phase. The Palestinians did implement the first phase, and we can go to the second phase. What is the problem with the second phase? The second phase is the Palestinian, a Palestinian state with provisional borders. The Palestinians said from the beginning, we are not going to implement the second phase. It's true that we accepted the roadmap, but forget about the second phase. So how could you reconcile between accepting the roadmap and opposing the second phase? They said, because it is written in the roadmap that the second phase is an option of a Palestinian state.
That's right, optional. We wrote it this way.
Saib, you can trust me, I will represent you. Since it is an option, we, for example, Palestinians, don't like this option.
That's right.
And as a result of it, we will oppose it. Well, you know, there are Talmudic interpretations, and this is one of them. Fine, I mean, if you ask me whether I would like to see a Palestinian state in provisional borders, I hate the idea. I hate the idea.
Me too.
But I hate much more an idea that nothing will happen. And we will say, let us pray to Bibi Netanyahu to accept 1967, and he will say no. Believe me, it is not too difficult for him. He will know that you said here, it is recorded. He will be asked about it in his next interview, and he will say no, which means no. Now, what are the Palestinians saying? The Palestinians are saying, you know what? If you want to have an interim agreement, the only way to have it, and this was said by Mahmoud Abbas a few months ago, I believe in the Central Committee of Fatah, we need a vision. If the interim agreement is part of the permanent agreement and it is only one step towards it, fine. But don't stuck us in the interim solution forever. So what are you going to give us? 50%, 60% of the land, and we will be there, and there will be a border dispute between Israel and Palestine, like there are about 72 border disputes in the world. This is the number I heard years ago. Maybe there are some more. So the need is for a vision. What is the problem? Had Israel of Netanyahu been ready to give a vision of a permanent solution, they wouldn't have needed any idea of an interim solution. They could have gone directly to it, because for Israel it is also a very high price, because then there is no end of claims, no Jewish state, all the goodies will not be there. We know that all these things will be only in the permanent agreement with all the other things that we will owe to the Palestinians. This will be wrapped up. So the only way to solve this problem is to ask the Americans to deliver the vision, to be the surrogate vision deliver for Israel, but not in the way which was done by Clinton, saying, Saib, Shlomo, take this paper. If you want it, fine. If you don't want it, I'm finishing my job in 20 days, so forget it.
It will be off the table.
Off the table. No. This should be an American commitment, which will be there after the second term of Obama. Hopefully will not be needed, because by then we will have peace. Now, this is the moment in which President Obama should take something like this, I believe, seriously. He is going to deliver a speech on Thursday. This is the opportunity for him to give both sides a vision. And I can tell you, the vision that I can think of resembles very much the Geneva Initiative. I don't know why. This vision will not be applauded by the Palestinians and will not be applauded by the Israelis. Both of them will say, we listen to it. I don't think that they will adopt it, and I don't believe that they should adopt it. They should take note of an American vision, which should be detailed enough and deal with all the outstanding issues of the Oslo Declaration of Principles. For the Palestinians, it should be enough in order to negotiate on something which they don't like, and for the Israelis, it should be good enough in order to negotiate on something that they don't like. Since, I mean, if this is happening, if they negotiate, and it shouldn't take too long, then by September, if September is a sacred date, by September, Israel might be the first to recognize a new member to the UN, which will be called Palestine, on the basis of the second phase of the roadmap, hopefully on the basis of 67, but it could refer also to the 67 borders as a point of reference or something like this. Saib and myself had more than 1 hour of negotiations. And we know that since we are talking about words here, the vocabulary, the English vocabulary is not so bad. You can easily find a way which will satisfy both sides. But this is only if we have by then the opportunity to recognize a Palestinian state, even if it is in provisional borders. Now, I want to conclude my words and to say that I really hate to be pragmatic, but I find myself once and again in this position. I voted for Sharon's government. I mean, our party, Meretz, voted for Sharon government, and this was the way to keep this government alive between January 2005 and the withdrawal from Lebanon, from Gaza. Because against our own idea, I mean, we hated the idea of a unilateral withdrawal from Gaza. But we said, I mean, Sharon was not going to have peace with Abu Mazen. And if he wants to put an end to occupation in this part of the territory, so be it. And he could fall like this had we not supported him all this year. And I'm finding myself in a very difficult position. This is not my vision, this is not my view, this is not my preference. But if I'm asking myself, I mean, towards something which might be a tsunami and might be different, we are going in blind eyes towards the wall in order to be surprised again while we can do something with this Israeli government, with this Palestinian leadership. So maybe it is better. Thank you.
כל מה ששמענו הערב מצביע בבירור על כך שממשלת ישראל חייבת להחליט האם היא לוקחת יוזמה ומובילה תהליך מדיני אמיתי בו תוכל לעמוד על האינטרסים של מדינת ישראל, או נגררת לתוך הליך כפוי שתוצאותיו אינן ידועות. אנו ביוזמת ז'נבה מבטיחים להמשיך יחד איתכם לפעול למען הסכם קבע ישראלי-פלסטיני שישים קץ לסכסוך ויבטיח את קיומן של שתי מדינות, ישראלית ופלסטינית, זו לצד זו. אני רוצה להודות לדוברים, דוקטור קושנר, דוקטור אריקת ודוקטור ביילין, על ערב מרתק. ולהודות לכם על שהגעתם לערב זה. תודה רבה.